All right, everybody, welcome in another edition of the Schmolke Investment Team LSU football practice report on the eve of the big scrimmage in Tiger Stadium tomorrow night. And, of course, I'm Mike Scarborough with TigerBait's, Buddy Sanji, my sidekick. And I think Michael Van Buren, to me, was the notable of the day. Had some beautiful passes, consecutive beautiful passes. Of course, there was no offensive line and no defensive line in front of him. But still, it was all about him picking the receivers and doing his check downs and going through all his progression. And I thought he'd had the best day I've seen out of him since he's been in an LSU uniform. Your thoughts, buddy?
TJIF, everybody. We're off a little bit. Look, we got thrown a curveball, and a pleasant curveball. They went indoors all day long, and so we were not out here fighting this sun and this humidity. And, Mike, I'm glad for the sake of the legs on that football team. Everybody indoors and looking good. We got a lot of tidbits for you. Hope that you're getting excited. I think, as you mentioned on Wednesday, it's continuing to come over. We kind of regurgitate a lot of the same things, but here we go with some quick tidbits, and I echo your sentiments right out of the gate, where Michael Van Buren, I thought, threw the football and looked more confident. He looked more comfortable in his skin today. A lot of great passes, I think 6 or 7 consecutive touchdowns. Other big news, Juwan Johnson, in my opinion, has squarely taken over the number 3 running back. Harlan Berry is a little gimpy. Nick Anderson's a little gimpy. You got to be careful on that. Whit Weeks, as Coach Kelly said with the presser, you'll hear that in the presser. No need for him to go 5 days in a row. But, Mike, I'm sitting here looking. I still didn't see anybody hurt. So they're healthy. They look fast. They look crisp today. They will scrimmage tomorrow night in Tiger Stadium. And today, a lot of working on noise. 2-minute offense. And as you know, in Clemson Stadium, Memorial Stadium, folks, that place is going to be rocking. You're going to have to use the hand signals. You're going to have to communicate. And so working on the little things will give you more tidbits. But as always, hope everybody doing well on this Friday. And it's close, Mike, 15 days away. Can you believe it?
Yep. They were pumping in very loud, very distorted. Limp Bizkit, Nirvana, Metallica. Might have been one or two others that I missed, but it was basically an early 90s rock fest in there at the loudest they could get it. And so there you have that. Missing practice today, and congratulations to them. Chris Hilton, Jordan Gilbert, Emory Jones back in town to get their degrees. So I know initially a lot of people, where's Chris Hilton, worrying about that there was an injury. No, he graduated. So congrats to those 3, and there were several others as well.
Paul Mubinga getting some reps with the ones at left guard. DJ Chester getting some reps at the backup center. Everybody knows, BK said it, if Braylon Moore got hurt, DJ Chester would come right in and play center again. Giving guys a look-see. I think Mubinga, DJ Chester. We talked about Cohen Eccles. We saw Karis Kern at guard a couple of days ago. Not today. Back out at the left tackle spot. Of course, Colin Hurley is the 3 quarterback. As we know, but I thought Michael Van Buren, for the first time today, carried himself. And you got to understand, folks, this guy's at a new place, did start 8 games last year for Mississippi State, threw the football for over 300 yards against Georgia and Texas last year. So the guy can play. But, Mike, I think all of us in the media have been waiting for the light to come on for him, and today it indeed came on. One of Mike's favorite players is Bauer Sharp. He was fantastic catching the football. Look, when they're inside and they're pitching and catching, they did not act like they had practiced 5 days in a row. So as we look over here, tomorrow night, what you do is you simulate the day that you have when you have a game. 2 weeks from tomorrow, they will be on the road, and they will wake up, and they've got to kill all day long until 6:30. So now you go in the stadium. They'll have the noise. They're going to try to simulate it. And then next week, we don't know our availability, but once we get back out here next week, then we'll start to see.
Yeah, and they're saying they're starting preparing for Clemson Tuesday. So
yeah. There you go.
Y'all do me a favor. If you're enjoying this practice report, please hit that like button. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm, and it also helps us with the algorithm on Facebook as we're loading these up at both places. So look, Schmolke Investment Team, Bart and Brian Schmolke, father and son duo. Great people, huge LSU fans, and you need to do business with them when you're looking for a place to invest your money and start saving for your future. So just don't sit and let your money sit idle. It's time to get off your couch or your assets and start investing. Every moment you wait could be a missed opportunity to manage your wealth. At the Schmolke Investment Team, their financial advisors are ready to kickstart your investment journey. Whether you're a new investor or looking to expand your portfolio, they've got expertise to guide you every step of the way. Give them a call at 318-448-3201 or visit www.schmolketeam.com or go by their office on Versailles Boulevard, 128 Versailles Boulevard in Alexandria for a free initial consultation. Your future's in your hands. Let's make it happen. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA/SIPC. All investing involves risk, including loss of principal. No strategy assures success or protects against loss.
Yeah, a little bit of a change of thing here. We're talking about Michael Van Buren and some of those beautiful balls that he threw. Nuss still throwing it well. Look, folks, at this point, you want to be sure that the guys that are nicked a little bit, whether it be the ankle, the knee, or whatever, you don't need to put Whitweeks out on the field. You know what Nick Anderson can do, but he doesn't want to miss any reps because he doesn't want to go down on the depth chart. Barry and Brown, another big guy, catching a lot of footballs. Mike asked a great question about, and this is funny you asked this, about how do you, with all these receivers, I mean, folks, we've gone through the numbers. You know who they are. You're going to see a lot of 12 personnel, and I like it. Saw some plays inside the red zone with dumping it off the Bauer Sharp and Trey Des Green. But lo and behold, how do you get back to the run game? And that was a great question. In other words, what Mike was saying is that if you're having success throwing the football, you may throw it 40 or more times, but you want to be balanced and you want them to respect your run game. So I think that is why they're going to continue to work on that run game. And as we know, and every time Dick and Harry making these reports, that still is the biggest question.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do if it's first down, you run it, maybe you get 1 or 2 yards, you run it again, maybe you get another 2 yards, then it's third and long. And then if you don't convert on the third and long, then you feel like you've wasted that drive. Whereas if you, on the previous drive, offensively, you threw it almost every down and you scored in 4 or 5 plays. You can see where they'd be tempted, particularly when you've got all the wide receivers that we rattle off every practice report, all the tight ends, the things you're doing with Bauer Sharp and Xavier Thomas and Jawan Johnson combined into all that. I guess, and the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I think, Cole Kubelik made a little bit of news this week when he was suggesting on his show with Moscona that, he was saying that the reason why LSU can't run the ball is because they abandon it too quickly, and that you can't expect offensive linemen when you've thrown it all game long to all of a sudden say, now we need you to we need to get this first down on 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2, and I don't know that I buy that's strictly the mindset of it. And that's why I wanted to ask BK that question. It was the last question of the day today. You guys check it out and see what you think about his answer. But look, when they've done what they've done in the offseason, I think Brian Kelly in his tenure at LSU finds their lack of production in the running game to be embarrassing. And so, but again, if you can be prolific offensively, no matter how you do it, how do you risk that temptation to do what brings you the most success?
You saw that vehicle just scoot by us at a high speed. That's what you're going to see with Caden Durham. I thought Caleb Jackson is now running the daylight better than running in the darkness. Jawan Johnson, to me, asserted himself as the third running back going into Clemson. He is going to be heavily involved in game 1. You've been saying it, Mike. I don't know how quickly Harlem Berry is going to be in the mix. I don't know if he's going to have a lot of PT in that first game because he's getting acclimated to the physicality and everything from that big step from high school to college. But back to catching the football. Hilton wasn't there, but there's just so many guys. It wasn't like anybody was missing. We know he's going to be a vertical threat, but Jelani Watkins, I want to mention him again.
Yes.
You're going to see 17 in some opportunities. Not sure when, but he can actually fly.
Destin Hill with some nice grabs today.
So you got 7 or 8. Teron Francis, 83, is a big man at 6'1", 210, but he's probably a year away. Oh, by the way, looking at the backup linebackers, everybody knows out there, Whit Weeks and Harold Perkins are gone after this year. So once again, Devon Keys. Oh, by the way, West Weeks is gone. So that's 3 linebackers right there that'll be gone. But 42, Devon Keys, 30, C.J. Ross, 46, Tylen Singleton, and of course 31, C.J. Jim Coley, who's doing a great job at Star. They've got a lot of upcoming linebackers. Don't forget about Weeks' brother, Zach Weeks, and also Jaden Breaker, I think, is going to play on special teams. So we didn't ask about special teams. Coach didn't really divulge a lot of information. Look, as we get closer, he's given us access, but when we ask a specific question, he doesn't want to get into it because you're giving the opponent a lot of information. And so
I'll tell you what, I've been watching the defensive line a lot, and it just dawned on me that there is a big difference between the way that unit and their body language and the way they interact with Kyle Williams versus Bo Davis. And I'm not throwing shades at Bo Davis, but it's a totally different animal. And I think partly it's because Kyle Williams, a long-time NFL guy, not far removed from the NFL. I think the way he coaches that unit is a total 180 from the way they were coached by Bo Davis. I'm not saying one's wrong, one's right. We're going to find out soon enough. But I think that group seems to be having a lot of fun, and they're very much a cohesive unit. And I think they like what they're getting from Kyle Williams.
Yeah, BK did divulge Sadir Mitchell has lost some weight. He's down in the 340s. Sean Washington's at 315. I verified Bernard Gooden's a solid 280 right now. So if you see he's listed at 270, I knew he was bigger than that, but verified it today in the 280 range. And, of course, as we know, with Pyburn and Gabriel Relaford and Patrick Payton and Jamari Butler and all those guys, once again, good coverage. I got to make this little comment because we all love P.J. Woodland, but he is going to be called for pass interference this year. I don't know how many times, but he's undersized, so he's always putting his hands on people, grabbing, pushing, shoving. But he's coming along. Jakeem Jackson back, had a little hammy. They made sure that he was coming back, and he's good to go. And, of course, everybody knows I didn't see Mansour Delane at the beginning. I said, uh-oh. But believe it or not, 5 straight days, and I didn't see any nicks, bumps, bruises. Yeah, they're holding out some guys. They're being smart with some guys. But this is the big scrimmage. They'll have it in Tiger Stadium tomorrow night. He didn't verify. I think what he probably wants to do, Mike, is simulate the kickoff time. So they will, and they're at the hotel, so they will go through and simulate a game day tomorrow with eating and everything else, and then come into Tiger Stadium. Generally, these scrimmages are about 100 plays. You go with your ones for 40 or 50 plays. You go with your twos for another 30 plays. Then you work on special teams, situational stuff, red zone, 2-minute, all of that. Getting close. We're not ready to tell you if they're going to beat Clemson, but if they continue to get along. But the big news on that offensive line now, Binga getting some reps. That's a battle with DJ Chester. Everybody else seems like they held in with their spot. And, of course, we know Cohen Eccles is also in that mix at guard. The tackles, we haven't seen them give up much. So even though you're replacing Will Campbell and Emory Jones on the outside, right now, Tyree Adams and Weston Davis have done a pretty good job.
All right, I think that's about it for this Schmolke Investment Team practice report. We got a lot coming your way. BK's up on the site. We've got the Hell Angels going back and forth between behind us here at the end, and there you have it. We got a lot more for you on TigerBait.com. Got practice footage from today as well, and so stay tuned, everybody. We'll be back next week. Y'all have a good weekend.